Yeah, you trying to raise it up or go down?
I'm trying to bring this up. This right here.
Twist that thing.
Yeah, I already did that. It's not moving.
Oh, well,
There it goes.
Yeah. all right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to get into this thing. Elder, if you don't mind, will you lead us in prayer?
But yeah, we thank you for this wonderful day of rest, this holy Shabbat. Please give us wisdom, Abba Yah, and open our eyes, open our ears, physical eyes and spiritual eyes, and let your Ruach settle in our heart. In Mashiach's name, so be it.
So good.
So be it.
So, as I told y'all in the text, we're going to really be trying to make sure we're implementing history into everything. Because if you don't know history, then you won't see the signs of the things to come.
Don't do it again.
So before we get into it, let's read some history. Let's go to Deuteronomy 7 and read it, if you don't mind. Kind sir. Because the Most High, He always told us what He would do for us or to us.
Yeah.
Obedience or disobedience. I don't know who that is. Okay. All right, go ahead.
When the Most High thy Yah shall bring thee to the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Most High thy Yah shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down the images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire.
So if the Most High wanted us to utterly destroy them and then destroy any image that they had up, we should be taking everything in the same context today. Because there's a lot of powers that should not be the ones to worship other gods, even this Roman Catholic Christian religion that they talk about. You know, rosary beads and Mother Marys and all these saints.
Mother
and,
Nature.
yeah, and then they got pictures of Jesus or whatever else, but we're not supposed to have any fellowship with any of those things, right?
Yeah.
Because when we do these things, historically we go into captivity. When we do it long enough as a nation, we go into captivity. That's just been our pattern. Then it says, for thou art an holy people unto Yahuwah your Elohim. Yahuwah your Elohim have chosen you to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So he gives us these things so we can be exalted.
Yeah.
The problem is we want to what? Be like the other nations.
Yeah.
We want to have kings, prime ministers, presidents, congressmen, houses, senates, all of that stuff.
Do as the Romans do.
Yeah, we want to be in the Olympics. Right? We want to follow, all the different football stuff on Sunday. Right? We want to be as the heathen instead of being set apart and special to the Most High.
Yeah.
Again, we wanted a king over us, so that's why the Most High gave us a king according to our own heart, and he ended up being a wicked king. Right? King Saul.
Yeah, first one.
Yeah, first one, right? So then it says, Yahuwah did not set his love upon you, because I remember you had asked the question during the feast. Yahuwah did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people. but because Yahuwah loved you, so he chose to love us. And because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, because his word cannot return unto him void, hath Yahuwah brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Know therefore that Yahuwah your Elohim, he is Yah, the faithful Elohim, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face.
So he sent them all 10.
Yeah, he definitely sent on business. Like, there's no getting around it. If you hate him, like some people really hate him, but also to hate him means to continually be disobedient to him. You show him you don't care about his authority. You don't respect the honor that he's bestowed upon you in your life by giving you life, the breath of life, creating this reality that we all live in. We don't give him enough honor, praise, and just respect, honestly. Because especially like in this society, honor is not a thing. They go back on covenants like it's breathing, right? So as we keep going, it says, you shall therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments, which I command you this day to do them. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if you hearken to these judgments and keep and do them, that Yahuwah your Elohim shall keep unto you the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto your fathers. So us keeping these things means the Most High is going to give us mercy, protection, honor, and favor.
That's how you crack the code right there.
Look at our people now.
Yeah.
Are we keeping it?
No.
So that means that the Most High is not, well, he's actually keeping up to his end of the bargain because he told us what he was going to do.
He always do what he do, but we don't always do what we supposed to do.
Bro, as a nation, man, like the stuff be so ignorant, man. You can't even talk to people. You can't have differences of opinion. You know, people like always trying to, clock your pockets or always got ulterior motives instead of coming together and reasoning with one another like we're supposed to be able to do.
Let us reason.
Let us reason, right? So then he says, and he will love you and bless you and multiply you. He will also bless the fruit of your womb, children, and the fruit of your land, your corn and your wine and your oil, the increase of your kind and the flocks of your sheep, in the land which he sware unto your fathers to give you. You shall be blessed above all people.
Man.
Like, that's why they don't want us to read the Old Testament. When we do the things that are pleasing to the Most High, we're more blessed than anybody. We're not Proverbs, we're not bywords, we're not none of that. The Most High exalts us. He blesses everything. It's like we have the Midas touch, except we have Yahuwah's touch at that point in time.
As long as
Right?
you're doing the right thing,
Following his word, man. He be making stuff so plain. He says, you shall be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you or among your cattle. And Yahuwah will take away from you all sickness and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which you knowest, upon you, but will lay them upon all them that hate you.
Man.
Being obedient makes all of the curses that get activated for our disobedience go to the nations. He said, no sickness, we would not be barren. Like, we will basically be as the sand of the sea.
You know how many kids you're going to have? Ain't no
Bro.
barren.
And then nobody's dying prematurely from HIV, cancer, diabetes, all of these diseases, right? Obedience. It's better than sacrifice. Again, but that's why they want to keep you in believing that the law is done away with.
Even the pestilence.
Move that mic closer.
Having roaches.
Mic closer.
Even the pestilence. For example, let's just talk about people plagued with roaches in their house. And I'm just, keeping it real here. Bed bugs.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Scorpions
Yep.
coming in there biting you in the house, and spiders. But it's amazing. These promises that he gave us, and you wonder how you can say, well, we have snakes and everything. We've always had snakes in nature. Well, the snakes didn't bother our people when we were, we saw them outside in the field. You might kick them to the side and throw them out away, but they weren't aggressive.
Right.
Those things weren't aggressive to us when we were living in our land and being obedient.
Yeah.
Because we're in our rightful order.
But once you start doing the wrong thing, everything turns around. Everything turns
It's just
around.
crazy. He said all that stuff will happen to those that hate you.
Yeah.
Because we live in a land where a lot of people hate us for no reason.
Yeah.
We were one of the main reasons why this country and other countries were built.
Of course.
And they still hate us. They find reasons to hate us without a cause.
Yeah.
That's because of the curses, because we are not doing our part.
A lot of them ain't never even been around any color type people, no natives or blacks or whatever. You still hate, you know, color folk. Like, come on, man.
It's very much taught, that's for sure. It says, and you shall consume all the people which Yahuwah your Elohim shall deliver you. Your eye shall have no pity upon them, neither shall you serve their Elohim, for that will be a snare unto you. Every time we go and serve somebody else's Elohim, we get in trouble,
Yeah.
including the Talmud and all that other nonsense. Every time we do that as a nation, all hell breaks loose. Every single time. If you shall say in your heart, these nations are more than I, how can I dispossess them? Because you got to start thinking in that mindset now. Because we think about Babylon falling and this whole system falling, like, man, how can that happen and then the kingdom really be established, right?
Yeah.
So then he says, you shall not be afraid of them, but shall well remember what Yahuwah your Elohim did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt. So remember his word and his power and his might. The great temptations which your eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders, and the mighty hand, and the stretched out arm, whereby Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out. So shall Yahuwah your Elohim do unto all the people of whom you are afraid. It don't matter what country you're living in. It don't matter what system. It don't matter about the beast system, New World Order. It don't matter. The Most High, he can uproot all of that. We have to continue to have faith in him. No matter what. No matter how dark it's going to look, because I don't know, man. Like, even the stuff like the SNAP situation.
Yeah.
A judge literally told him, hey, you got to fully fund the thing, and he going to appeal the thing. Like, so you really want people to really be starving? Like,
He appealed it immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
People have no sense of loving their neighbor as themselves. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
No, exactly. No humanity.
We're talking about 42 million people, bro. Not just
So,
1 million.
Remember what I told you about a number? Whenever they use it,
42
they're talking about black people.
Yeah.
Because during that whole thing, when you talk about 42 million, they made us the face of SNAP.
Yeah.
You know, living on housing and assistance, when that statistically, by the numbers, that's not true.
Facts.
That's why they go by per capita.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to go by the raw numbers, because it's almost 20 million in
Bro,
there.
they always find a way to sneak out. You know, they
Boy.
always find a way to
Hey,
slither
man,
out.
a snake on snake, bro.
Yeah.
Moreover, Yahuwah your Elohim will send the hornet among them until they that are left and hide themselves from you be destroyed. So he will destroy our enemies. Again, what we always talk about, we just got to do our part. Bam always said, we just got to do our part. Because it literally be in black and white.
Yeah.
Just that simple. You shall not be affrighted at them. So you're not supposed to be scared of nobody. For Yahuwah your Elohim is among you, a mighty Elohim and terrible. And Yahuwah your Elohim will put out those nations before you, little and little. You mayest not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon you. And this is actually what's happening to them. But Yahuwah your Elohim shall deliver them unto you, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed. Guaranteed destruction of our enemies.
Yeah.
But people just want to be new Christians. That's what they want to be. I mean, we will always be second-class citizens in the hierarchy as it is now.
Yeah.
Because it all started from the church.
Yeah.
Literally, the church. And he shall deliver their kings into your hand, and you shall destroy their name from under heaven like they've done to us. There shall no man be able to stand before you until you have destroyed them. The graven images of their gods shall you burn with fire. You shall not desire the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it unto you, lest you be snared therein. For it is an abomination to Yahuwah, your Elohim. Neither shall you bring an abomination into your house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it. But you shall utterly detest it, and shall utterly abhor it. For it is a cursed thing. So now we're going to get back into this history. So we're going to have to do a recap now. This is going to take a while. So we're reading from this book, The Lost Tribes and Promised Lands by Ronald Sanders. Y'all remember that, right? Okay. So in this, I'm going to read a couple of this and then we'll just try to keep going. It's a lot of recap. Because I don't want to just jump into stuff and y'all don't remember how we got there. So it says, Zoraba's observations of the Negro have brought us into the presence of a true racist outlook. But they are not the first on record to display it in 15th century Iberia, nor was the Negro the first to feel its scum. There can be no doubt that the growing black presence contributed to the racial tinge that group attitudes now were beginning to assume. That's what's been happening in America. As our numbers grow, they get more and more tired of us.
Yeah, black fatigue.
Right. Black fatigue, right? And that, so they even corrupted that definition because originally it was us being tired of getting done dirty, and then they take it and then they just remix it.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're just so tired of black people. Oh, okay, all right, don't worry about
But
it.
how you tired of us when we ain't the one doing y'all wrong? Y'all the one doing us wrong.
I mean, and this is the guy they voted for president. So it says, there can be no doubt that the growing black presence contributed to the racial tinge that group attitudes now were beginning to assume. But racism in its most characteristic form is an attitude generated not at a distance, but within a given social framework, which ripens in the relationship between one group and another living side by side. So this is when they tell us who the Jews are. Black Africans were only relative newcomers to such a relationship with Christians on the Iberian Peninsula. So now we're talking about black Africans. They make it plain. The growing revulsion on the part of the latter from the southern component of their own identity found its first racist manifestations toward the Moors and the Jews in their midst, who had come up from Africa centuries before and had steadily infiltrated the life of the peninsula. So again, they know who we are. They put it in their books. They tell us it's the black Africans that came from Africa with the Moors. Okay. In particular, as the notion of taint that had hitherto attached to religious doctrines considered unclean began to attach to whole peoples and their bloodlines, whose bloodlines the new racism was above all directed at that group whose religion had provoked the most superstitious fear in the past. Us in this awakening is doing the same thing, right? They know that there's a destruction coming because retribution must be paid. They know it, right? Their bloodlines, the new racism was above all directed to that group whose religion had provoked the most superstitious fear in the past and who had achieved the greatest degree of infiltration into the society or into the general society. Its first victims were the Jews, or rather the most insidious, yada, 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 us, right? And then us Jews were known as new Christians.
Yeah.
This is not talking about all the other people that were claiming to be quote unquote Jews that weren't, right? This is talking about what you would call the Spanish or the Sephardic Jews, right? Came from Africa, right? So we're not crazy. None of those guys out there yelling and screaming, talking about we the people, they're not crazy.
Yeah.
Not crazy. So as we keep going, now we're going to go to Psalms 44. If you don't mind, I'll keep. Because they called us what? New Christians. That is a proverb or a Bible.
Proverb, yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. We have heard with our ears, O Yah, our fathers have told us what work thou did in their days, in the times of old, how you did drive out the heathen with thy hand, and plantest them, and thou did afflict the people, and cast them out. For they got not the land in possession by their own sword, neither did their own arm save them, but thy right hand, and thy arm, and the light of thy countenance, because thou had a favor unto them. Thou art my king, O Yah. Command deliverances for your code.
So why is David not praying for like the world? He just praying for his descendants. He's actually prophesying.
He's not worried about the world. He's worried about his bloodline, his people.
Because like you start reading like different psalms, you're like, man, everything he's talking about is what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Right?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Command deliverances for Jacob, for your code. Through thee will we push down our enemies. Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us.
So everything is through the power of the name of the Most High.
Yeah.
Like all those that will be saved are those that call upon the name of the Most High,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's not new. It's not a new concept. Keep going.
For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me.
So people, like of all races, especially here in America, are trusting so much in their guns. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we got plenty of guns. I'm like, y'all don't know the type of stuff the government has.
Yeah.
I ain't worried about your doggone gun. They could kill us at any point in time if they really want to.
Bro, they talking about them UFOs everybody been seeing, really been American aircraft that they've been testing out.
I'm about to say they've reverse engineered
Yeah.
a good majority of them.
Yeah. So all these UFOs people been seeing has been American government.
Potentially. They can't guarantee it because this has been going on for years.
Yeah.
I've been seeing them for over 10 years. So I don't necessarily agree with it.
You know?
No, because for one, a lot of them come out of water, right? Not necessarily Air Force bases or whatever. Like the people that have seen them naturally have seen them come out of water. Like we kind of we went over that a long time ago, but and then they're always near the ones that aren't government controlled. They're always near nuclear facilities. Well, they always see them.
Yeah. Not always watered around. It be deserts a lot of the time.
Okay, I'm telling you, I'm reading books and researching that too. But let's stay on this. Go ahead.
But thou hast saved us from our enemies, and hast put them to shame that hated us. In Yah we boast all the day long, and praise thy name forever, Selah. But thou hast cast off and put us to shame, and goest not forth with thy armies. Thou makest us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil themselves.
Is that not what's going on in 2025? They spoil themselves of us. We've been made merchandise. We have to whore ourselves out to do everything.
Yeah.
Work the hardest.
Even like most of our millionaires, if not billionaires, are still rich slaves. No matter how you slice it. Like them NBA players be having FBI and CIA following all of their every moves. They're not free to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Nobody here is free. Nobody. Keep going.
Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and has scattered us among the heathen.
Well, we know we scattered now.
Thou sellest thy people for naught, and doest not increase thy wealth by their price. Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. My confusion is continual before me, and the shame of my face hath covered me.
Because that's what this whole rise of the Christian nationalism and MAGA movement is really about. Because, you know, they look at the worst of our people, and then they just try to paint the picture that that's all of us, even though that's a striking minority. You're talking about maybe 6,000 to 10,000 people. Maybe even if you said a million, we got what 40-something million here in America. Still an overwhelming, minority, but they just want to paint the picture like that's all of us.
Yeah.
Because again, we fall short of the Most High's glory, and when we do that, we fall into captivity. And when we become a proverb and a byword, nobody saves us. It don't matter who rises up, whoever they put in front of us, and I don't be trusting nobody they put in front of us because a lot of them be boule, double agents. That just sell our people out. And even when you start looking into the history of the Spanish Inquisition, we had a lot of sellouts. Like nothing changes. Like
all the slavery too, man.
Bro.
Sellouts, yeah.
All the slavery. What was it called? Notorious manumission or something like that. Right. We always got sellouts, no matter what's going on. Sell your own people out for 30 pieces of silver.
Yeah. That's like Judas, huh?
Boy.
For the voice of him that reproaches and blasphemeth by reason of the enemy and avenger. All this is come upon us. Yet have we not forgotten thee, neither have we dwelt falsely in thy covenant. Our heart is not turned back, neither have our steps declined from thy way. Through thou hast sore broken us in the place of dragons, and covered us with the shadow of death. If we have forgotten the name of our Yah, or stretched out our hands to a strange God, shall not Yah search this out for he knoweth the secrets of the heart. Yea, for thy sake are we killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. Awake, why sleepest thou, O Lord? Arise, cast us not off for even, or forever, my bad. Wherefore hidest thy face, and forgettest our affliction and our oppressions? For our soul is bowed down to the dust, our belly cleaveth unto the earth. Arise for our help, and redeem us for thy mercy's sake.
This has got to be in our prayers. I mean,
going through it.
Yeah, we've been going through it.
Going through it.
Because again, they don't teach us real history. It's watered down. It's lies.
Yeah.
It's literal propaganda because they don't want us to know who we are.
Yeah.
They don't want it. They definitely don't want the American people to know who we are
Yeah.
and who some of the tribes of the Native Americans were.
Yeah.
That they knew were Israelites. Literally, those were the ones that they had the incompienda. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
To where they can take them and put them into slavery. Like,
Yeah.
weird. Good old Pope.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the Iberian Peninsula, right? So according to like the maps back then, it would have looked like this: Spain, Portugal, right? So I just put that on there just so y'all can get a visual from that. Remember, they came from North Africa, these Jews and these Moors, right?
Just also a note, you also know how that transfers over to in America, because you have Iberia Parish that's in Louisiana, because you have to remember that that was part of Spain at one time.
Yep.
Also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana Purchase. Whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, he's spot on that one.
Yeah.
So we talk about the African origins of Jews and Moors. Historical records and scholarly research show that both the Jews and Moors of medieval Iberia had strong African connections. Jews, many Iberian Jews descended from communities in North Africa, such as Carthage, Cyrenaica, and Egypt. Before migrating to Spain, they had long established populations in Morocco and Algeria, right? Now this is just coming from AI, right? So now I'm gonna show y'all that some of these places are actually in the New Testament, specifically Cyrene. And we know we also had tribes in Egypt also, but we're gonna focus on Cyrene. So we're gonna go to Matthew 27, and we're gonna read verses 24 through 32. It says, when Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See you to it. So he didn't want to have nothing to do with killing
Wash
Shia.
my hands, homie. I ain't do this.
Then answered all the people and said, his blood be upon us and on our children. When we get to like the spiritual heaven, but we're going to have to square up with some of them ancestors that said that. I don't want nobody's innocent blood, let alone the Messiah's on me or my children.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Then released he Barabbas unto them. And when he had scourged Yahusha, he delivered him to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yahusha into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and put him on a scarlet robe. And when they had plaited a crown of thorns, they put it on his head and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Yahudim. And they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head. And after that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify him. Here's the point. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, that's one of those places in North Africa,
Yeah.
Simon by name,
The one that carried the cross.
right? Him that they compelled to bear his stake or cross. Okay, so that's one. Acts 2. Acts 2, we're going to read verses 1, 5, and 8.
He was a black man too.
Yeah, exactly. Israelite. Acts 2, verses 1, 5, 8 through 10. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. So that's the context. And there were dwelling, verse 5, at Jerusalem, Yahudim, devout men out of every nation under heaven. Verse 8. And how hear we every man in our own tongue where we were born. Parthians. So all these Yahudim had been scattered. Parthians and Medes, and Elamites, and the dwellers in Mesopotamia, and in Judea, and Cappadocia, in Pontus, and in Asia, Phrygia, and Pamphylia, in Egypt, and in the parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Yahudim, and proselytes. So now let's go to Acts 11. Acts 11. We're going to read verses 18 through 20. When they heard these things, they held their peace and glorified Elohim, saying, then hath Elohim also to the Gentiles granted repentance unto life. Right? So Peter's letting them know about the vision that he had, and the Gentiles received the Spirit of the Most High, the Ruach HaKodesh. Now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that rose about Stephen traveled as far as Phoenice and Cyprus and Antioch, preaching the word to none but to the Yahudim only. So this is the context. These were the ones that were doing the preaching. And some of them were men of Cyprus and Cyrene. So we know that we had Yahudim there. Which, when they were come to Antioch, spake unto the Grecians, preaching Yahusha. Acts 13. Acts 13, verse 1. Now there were in the assembly that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon that was called Nigger. No. When you look it up, the pronunciation is Nigger. Literally, it's Nigger. Simon that was called Nigger, and Lucius of Cyrene, again, and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. Remind me after this and I'll show you. Okay. But yeah. So now we're going to get into a history book. Shout out to B'nai Israel. We're going to get into the book, The Negro in the New World. And whoever wants to read this one can read this one. The Negro in the New World. Okay. Because,
excuse me.
Yes, sir.
There's a side note when you talk those historically, those Elamites.
Oh, no, we're going to go over Elamites here in a second. Yeah. Okay. We're going to go over Elamites here in a second.
Not Edom.
Elam.
Yeah,
Elam.
okay.
Yeah. E-L-A-M-I. Yeah, I got you. We're going to go over it in this book, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, the Negro in the New World. So now, because they paint a picture that you know white people were the only ones in Europe and that's where they come from, right? Like we didn't exist over there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yet the ancient Negroid elements in these European populations seem to possess slightly more affinity with the Asiatic Negroes or with those of northeastern Africa than with the typical African Negroes or Bushmen.
Now, in case y'all don't know, Israel is literally in Northeast Africa.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Okay.
Corner, yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay.
all right. In spite of these very interesting discoveries in the Grimaldi caverns, the deductions to be drawn from the rest of our limited knowledge point rather to India as the original birthplace of the Negro subspecies.
So now they're trying to say that Negroes were originally in India. So we know that India had black people because India used to be Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Just as India or Central Asia may have been the evolutionary center of the entire human genus and of the sapiens species, and have witnessed the branching off of the straight-haired, hairless body, yellow-skinned Mongolian who migrated northwards through Central to Eastern and Hyperborean Asia, and to America, and southwards to Malaysia and the Pacific, and perhaps again to America.
So they're saying that the Asians actually come through us or from us, is what they just said. Okay. It's going to get weird. Okay, keep going. You're talking about Elamites, right? Okay.
Elam, yeah. The Elamites of Mesopotamia appear to have been a Negroid people with kinky hair, and to have transmitted this racial type
To the who?
to the Jews and Syrians.
That's crazy. That's why. Go ahead, Elder. Go ahead.
The Elamites, a lot of them we see every day. Because actually, if you remember, Elam was one of the sons of Shem.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's on the next slide. Yep.
Okay, so your Elamites actually, when you see these Indians, these Eastern Indians,
Yeah.
not all of them now.
Of course.
But the ones that, and you can kind of look at their features and see,
Mhm.
but a lot of more the darker ones,
Yeah.
they haven't been really whited out.
Uh-huh.
Those are your Elamites.
Mhm.
And they got more of a, I mean, they like, we know
I-
they've been whited out, but a lot of them, since they have kind of nappy hair,
Yep.
you can still see the traces of their hair is still,
100%.
looks like, looks like us, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. Okay, the Jews and the Syrians. There is a curliness of their hair.
Hold on. So they're telling us that the Jews were Negro. Like,
Yeah.
in
They explain
books.
everything. They're explaining everything.
It don't even make sense. Like, well, what is the debate about?
That's why they be hiding these books. That's why they be hiding these
Oh
books.
man.
Who is the head of the FBI?
Patel, an Indian guy.
Cash Patel.
Huh?
Is he one?
Yeah, he's Indian. We from India.
Is he one Edomite?
Oh, I don't know. He's kind of light skinned.
But he may have some blood in him, you know.
kind of light skinned.
But I don't know.
We don't know. That's a good question, though.
But
That's a
he's
good
definitely
point.
from
Yeah,
India.
good question.
Yeah.
Because again, India used to be called Ethiopia at one point in time.
The whole
It used to
country
be. It used to be a part of Ethiopia.
So it was more than one Ethiopian?
Ethiopia was just bigger. Like when you talk about reigning and ruling,
Yeah.
yeah, Ethiopia used to be the bee's knees.
You have to remember
Are you
that.
talking about Persia? Because Persia was India and Ethiopia all the way there. Am I that right?
We're gonna keep reading. You'll see.
You
Okay.
gotta remember the Balfour Agreement.
They changed the
You know, They
boundaries.
started changing the
Yeah.
boundaries and they started splitting everything
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Cut
The
everything.
Germans,
Yeah.
the so-called Germans.
So-called Germans.
Yeah.
So-called
They
Germans.
cut everything. Good.
So-called. I'm gonna show you why we say so-called Germans here in a second.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
There is a curliness of the hair, together with a Negro eye and full lips in the
Portraiture.
portraiture of Assyria, which conveys the idea of an evident Negro element in Babylonian.
Now remember, the Northern Kingdom went into captivity in Assyria.
Yeah. Babylon, man.
Mhm.
Quite probably the very ancient Negro invasion of the Mediterranean Europe, of which the skeletons of the Alpes Maritimes are vestige, came from Syria and Asia Minor on its way to Central and Western Europe.
And Asia Minor is literally where the Northern Kingdom went into captivity.
Yeah,
Crazy. So he talked about it. So Elam descends from Shem.
yeah, facts.
So Elam descends from Shem. You could go to Genesis 10 verse 22. The children of Shem are Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram, right? So that just makes that plain. So finish up. I think this is the last slide from this book. We'll go to another one.
Alright. The Jews are composed of 3 or 4 separate racial elements. The Asiatic Negroid strain shows itself occasionally in the curly hair, the long eye, and proportions of the skull. The Jewish hybrids
Of where?
the skull.
Of where? Keep going.
Oh, the Jewish hybrids with the Negro in Jamaica and Guinea, Guyana, reproduce most strikingly the Assyrian type.
So they're telling you that we had Yahudim
Yeah.
in Jamaica and Guyana.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is quite conceivable that the great peninsula of Arabia was once populated as far as its natural conditions allowed by a primitive Negro stock.
So the original Arabs were dark skinned,
Yeah,
black,
yeah.
not the ones that are pretending to be Arabs now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Which may have later on partially exterminated by changing in unfavorable conditions of climate
Or what else?
and by the aftercoming of the white man in his type.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. The climate, as I always said.
Yeah, that ain't just climate. Ain't no way.
Whole thing to do with
See
it.
how you try to minimize that last part?
Mhm.
Or by this little part.
Yeah, no.
That's the real part.
Yeah, that's the main reason right there.
Hey, that's why I
So-
always say you have to travel.
Yeah.
You gotta travel and go to other parts and just
Yeah.
your local
Yep.
state.
You have
You have to travel and meet people.
Yeah.
And talk to people.
People know things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I'm saying. We know that we've been lied to, because what? That's crazy,
That
huh?
last little
Yeah,
part
just trying to be
made me
slick about it.
yeah.
Or when the white man came, that's
Yeah.
what happened. Like, what are we talking about? It's crazy. So, like with all this, so we know through history they've been teaching lies. Like they don't teach us about the Moors ruling Spain. When did the Moors start ruling Spain or Europe?
I don't know.
So it started at 711 AD,
The Dark Ages.
and it went to 1492.
Interesting.
What happened in 1492?
Well, we know what happened.
Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
And found America.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the first person to ever seen America.
So our presidents tell a different history or origins of people than what we're taught today. Namely, Benjamin Franklin. In his book, Observations Concerning the Increase of Mankind, Peopling of Countries, etc., an essential classic, Benjamin Franklin. So let's see it now, point 24. And it reads, which leads me to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. All Africa is black or tawny. What is tawny? Just think about it. Black or tawny. Asia, chiefly tawny. America, exclusive of the newcomers, wholly so talking about America, outside of the newcomers are tawny also, just so y'all know. And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes are generally of what we would call a swarthy complexion, as are the Germans also. The Saxons only accepted, who with the English make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. So it's the Saxons and the English.
Yeah.
Okay. I can wish their numbers were increased, and while we are, as I may call it, scouring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making this. Now, what color is tawny? Do y'all know? We did this years ago.
Tawny, I believe, is kind of like brown. It's going to be a brownish complexion.
So, but this is how subtle it is. You have to go back to the etymology. So it's tan color. Okay. Later, especially brown with dark or yellowish orange.
It's brown.
Right. Anglo-French or of or like the brownish yellow of tan leather from Old French tanne, dark brown tan. But you go to the bottom, it literally says brown skinned person.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, you're tawny. You're definitely tawny. So tawny is brown skin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he said, who all did he say was tawny? He said
Germans, Russians.
He said
Spanish.
Asia.
Yeah.
He said America outside of the newcomers. Then he said the Spaniard. Well, he said a different word for these people.
Swarthy.
Swarthy. So what color is swarthy?
Like you.
Like me. So now this is the game that they play though. Yeah. So but this is the game they play. So when you go to swarthy, all it says is dark color. It says dark color and tawny. So that's dark brown.
Yeah.
Especially in reference to skin in the 1580s, right? An unexplained alteration of swarthy from swart. So then I'm like, okay, let's go to swart. Swart. Old English, black, being of a dark hue. So I'm going to go back to this. It says black, being of a dark hue. So he said, all Africa is black or tawny, Asia chiefly tawny, America exclusive of the newcomers, wholly so. Then he said, and in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, Swedes are generally what you would call a swarthy complexion.
Yeah.
So if the Russians are black, the Swedes, the French, the Italians, and the Spaniards, we're talking about Yahudim.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on today? What is up with all the confusion? That don't even make no sense.
He who controls history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Germans.
Yeah.
He said, as are the Germans.
Yeah, he did.
So who was Hitler? What the heck is going on? He said that they were swarthy. Who the heck was Hitler?
Man.
And was that the real? Was Hitler a real deal, or is the one that they show us an actor? I've gone down some rabbit holes.
Yeah.
They be lying on history, bro.
Yeah.
But the Germans were dark-skinned people.
They've been whited out, as we all know, too.
Yeah.
And that goes, that's another study, and we're not going to elaborate now, but that's another study how that happened.
Yeah.
That stuff is crazy. So then he said, dark-skinned peoples. So still in the same book, this side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of inhabitants in Mars or Venus. Why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? Why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America, where we have so far an opportunity by excluding all blacks and tawnies of increasing the lovely white and red? but perhaps I am partial to the complexion of my country, for such kind of partiality is natural to
So
mankind.
Ben Franklin being racist, man.
Boy, throwing through.
He's
So-
American, isn't he?
Yeah. like it's crazy. So, and we're just going over history. We're not we're not trying to be racist or nothing. Fair use. All this is for educational and training purposes.
Educational purpose.
And training purposes, right?
Truth is the truth.
Truth is the truth.
Yeah, man. No filter. Truth is the truth.
Yeah.
Right. So, what is a Marano, right? And if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and read. Started at these.
These people in particular vote the opprobrious epithet that often was used against all new Christians. Moranos, apparently an ironic application of a Spanish word meaning swine. Many of the converts, who thus remained secretly loyal to the ancestral faith, no doubt believed that a time might soon arrive when they could openly return to it with impunity. There were precedents for this in Christian Europe and in Spain in particular, provided by tolerant monarchs ready to allow it and to protect the recidivists from the wrath of the church.
So what you have to remember is, so if the Moors ruled Europe from 711 to 1492, and all of a sudden, because we know that the Moors' main religion was what?
I think Islam.
Islam.
Yeah.
So now they're talking about Christian Europe. So that means that there were revolutions that started going on, and different religions started taking over. So that's, again, this is the origins of racism that we're learning about. I'm just trying to keep that in your mind. Okay.
Besides, the church itself had mixed feelings about conversions achieved by force rather than persuasion. As time wore on, however, and generation succeeded generation, the Marano hope of reconversion took on a more messianic character.
Okay, we're gonna stop there. We're gonna stop there because our people were always looking for the Messiah to come,
Yeah.
and for the nations to get what they got coming, right? So we go to the next slide. So we would search for promised lands. Then it says the Judaism of Spain had not been so firmly shored up in its orthodoxy as that of Northern Europe. The Talmud, that mighty fortress of Yahudim traditionalism, never achieved in Spain the kind of overwhelming authority it had readily found among the Ashkenazic Jewry. So that's a different set of Jewry. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't even know who Hitler and them really were. They were actually probably more likely Saxons or something.
Yeah,
Because
Saxons.
that don't even make no sense.
Yeah.
If a president is saying all these people are this color, and then you're parading other people, like, what's going on here?
You know, Saxons always call themselves Aryans anyway, so.
They call themselves what?
Aryans.
Yep, you're right, Aryans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that. Okay. And we know that we are always supposed to stay away from that cursed Talmud,
Yeah.
right? So Christianity in the Middle Ages. Again, we're still recapping. But the dynamic Christianity of the late Middle Ages was an entirely different matter. It not only mounted an unrelenting assault on Yahudim resistance to the message of universal salvation, but also challenged Judaism on its most susceptible front, that of the Messianic question. The Messianic component of Judaism has been less prominent in recent times because people don't really get into it, but now with the rise of the awakening in the camps, a lot more arguments are starting to come about.
Yeah.
That's why we're going over history. But for most Jews in the Middle Ages, it was the main issue. So we were always worried about salvation and the Messiah,
Yeah.
right? The redemption that had been anticipated from almost the very moment of destruction and dispersion in antiquity. And that was the principal justification for having kept the faith since then, was the object of an excitement that was never far beneath. So again, we were always looking to that. They were looking for a different Messiah, a lot of them, but we were always looking for him. So then it says, the surface in Spain in particular, Messianic excitement had reached new heights since the beginning of the Reconquista, and calculations were rife, foretelling the imminent date of the Redeemer's arrival, right? Doing all that forecast on, yeah, he's going to come on this day. No, he's not. Messianic inebriation made resistance difficult to a proselytizing Christianity that proclaimed the Redeemer to have arrived already. And medieval Spain saw some dramatic Yahudim conversions to Christianity. In 1391, Many Spanish Jews found Christianity at least as attractive a creed as the one into which they had been born, and needed nothing more than the external shove the riots provided to send them through the barriers of blood loyalty into an embrace with the religion of European civilization. So what happened was those riots were actually against the Jews, right? That's what you would call that word pogroms, where they get now programs. They got it from the word pogroms, which was violence against the Jews, right? And this same thing, exactly what happened then was the rise in Christian nationalism, right? Through the Roman Catholic Christian Church. Same thing that's happening now through Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. The highest order of Satanism, MAGA, witchcraft, right? Okay, so we keep going. Remember, the wearing of the cross. So, a couple of things. So, Spain became newly zealous, for Christianity. And there were some I guess you can call them friars, that they were just raising up just to proselytize us into Christianity. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go into why, they were really having them raise up to really want to convert our people to their faith. Right?
You said friars?
Friars.
Like friar too? Yeah,
Friar, the Dominican order, it's like Fray Vicente Varela. He was a very, I guess he's very convincing on getting people to convert. I don't really want to read this whole thing. But he walked into one of the synagogues with a cross and allegedly got a whole bunch of people to convert, and some of them took his name, allegedly.
Yeah, that was weird.
Right, that's super weird.
That's a cult.
Yeah, that's a cult. So, but how did they get them to convert? Still recapping. So, were many conversions at this time. Although persuasion was abetted by legal coercion, in 1412, a new set of discriminatory laws against the Yahudim was promulgated in both Aragon and Castile at Vicente Ferrera's instigation. So this guy.
The fire.
Yeah. Frey.
Pastor Big Bob.
So this is the map of what it would look like, right? Back in those times, 14th and 15th century.
Castile, Aragon.
So we remember, so for instance, we'll start with Aragon, I believe. Right, so the Kingdom of Aragon, 1412, right? Came up with all these different laws because of Dominican friar Vicente Ferrera, right? All right. So forced segregation.
Yeah.
Is that not what we went through slavery?
Man, good ball, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So in 1412, they had to go through segregation.
Man.
What a coincidence. Huh. Forced segregation. Yahudim were required to live in isolated, segregated quarters called juderias, often in poor or undesirable parts of cities and villages. Sounds like a ghetto or a hood to me, right?
Yeah.
Dress codes. Yahudim were forced to wear simple, modest clothing to distinguish them from Christians.
Yeah. You couldn't dress nice at all.
They were forbidden from wearing garments made of silk or satin. Yahudim men were also required to let their beards grow long. So anything to separate ourselves, so they'll know, those are the Yahudim. Yeah. So, yeah.
They wanted to be able to tell who was Yahudim, but you couldn't do nothing, nice for yourself.
Right, but we're all supposed to be a part of the body of Christ, right?
Yeah. We're all Christians, brother.
All right. New Christians at that. Professional restrictions. The Yahudim were banned from many professions, including farming. How you going to ban them from farming? Holding government positions, working as doctors, pharmacists, tailors, blacksmiths. And I'm going to show you why this sentiment started happening, because this is in 1412, right?
Yeah.
You're going to see a little bit later on. This was particularly aimed at professions that put them in close contact with Christians. So they want us to be Christians, but y'all can't be close to us, though.
Stay away.
Y'all got a Heisman on that thing. Okay. Financial limitations. Jews were prohibited from collecting taxes for the crown, a role that had been a significant source of wealth. They were also forbidden from working as brokers of money, changers on behalf of Christians. Social restrictions. Jews were not permitted to use Christian names or be addressed by Christian titles. They were also required to wear a distinctive red badge on their clothing for identification. Again, that's the origin of the Red Cross.
Yeah.
Now, Aragon. Let's see what Aragon did. Religious restrictions. So we couldn't use the Talmud. All praises to the Most High on that one. Yeah. Synagogue limits. We can only have one synagogue per community. Forced conversion sermons. We had to attend 3 conversion sermons a year in order to not get in trouble. So it says consequences of the laws. These decrees severely restricted Yahudim life and had devastating effects on the Yahudim communities in both Castile and Aragon. The economic and social destruction caused by these laws led to a wave of Yahudim immigration from the Iberian Peninsula over the next 80 years. They also increased the pressure on Yahudim to convert to Christianity. By 1415, over half the Yahudim populations in Castile and Aragon had been baptized. Including many prominent members, these conversions created a new class of people known as conversos, another byword, conversos, or new Christians who would later become a target of the Spanish Inquisition. Go ahead.
Question.
Yes, sir.
On that forced conversion sermons, I'm just curious. It says 3. Would that be possibly Passover, Shavuot?
More than likely. Tabernacles, more than likely.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Because there's three feasts where it's mandatory for all men to be at there, right?
Yeah.
So they have
Slick with
the
it.
devil's slick with it,
Slick
man.
with it, boy.
Mac is slick with it, boy.
Use your own stuff against you.
Huh?
You think the same thing?
Yeah, probably. So, and then we know the racism gradually transformed to universities. The signs of a reaction to the possibility of the taint heresy in every Christian of Yahudim blood had come as far back as 1414, when the University College of San Bartolome in Salamanca banned membership to anyone who was not of
Pure blood.
pure blood. Do y'all remember what the word was for pure blood? It became a whole doctrine.
I can't remember it now.
Limpieza de sangre. Right? So the idea of pure bloods refers to a historical concept of purity of blood, limpieza de sangre, that originated in Spain, right? So this is the Spanish term, literally means cleanliness of blood, and was a doctrine developed in the 15th century, which that means it's the 1400s. Pure and impure. It was used to distinguish between old Christians, those of Catholic Christian heritage, and conversos, converts from the Jewish or Yahudim or Muslim faith or their descendants. Social and political implications. The concept was used to determine a person's social standing and to justify discrimination against those who could not prove their lineage was free from Yahudim or Muslim ancestors. So you had to prove that you wasn't who you is. Because, you know, like, in order to be like an Israelite, you got to show your genealogy back to 3 generations proving that, you know, you're in that thing. So they're doing the exact same thing, but they're kicking us out of everything good.
Yeah.
And this is the church. The same church that they want us to stay in, to believe in, and all is one. No, you have no idea the history behind these things.
Synagogue of Satan.
Synagogue of Satan, literally. Going back to, okay, no. That's not part of it. So this, you know what this reminds me of, this doctrine of pure bloods?
What's that?
The 1 drop rule.
Yeah, but you know, to me, I try to practice. Well, I ain't try about it. It is Lampions de Sangre. I don't, you know. I mean, you know.
You said you do your own.
Hey,
But
I try to keep it. I try to keep it like the Most High said.
Yep.
Don't mix with their.
Yeah.
You know, isn't that Lampions of that?
Yep.
Huh?
Limpieza de sangre.
Hey.
He said, hey.
I've been practicing that all my life.
Hey. But like, you don't be hateful and don't let people work in certain jobs and can only wear certain clothing and
Discriminate.
discriminate.
Yeah.
You don't do all that. So that reminded me of the 1 drop rule. You remember that? You know what that is? So the 1 drop rule is a historical and legal concept in the United States that classified anyone with a known black ancestor as black, regardless of their physical appearance. This rule, also called hypodescent, was designed to uphold white supremacy and has been used to segregate people by creating clear racial distinctions and preventing interracial relationships. Although its legal application was overturned in the 20th century, the rule's legacy continues to influence societal perceptions of race today. Why would it say that? Because it does. Because all this, again, came from the church. The church, right? This is crazy, man. So that just reminded me of the one drop rule. So now back into this book, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. Go ahead, Al.
Alright. Okay, this was a weather vane for the more severe blast of racism that came in the 1440s.
So something happened worse in the 1440s before 1492.
Yeah. In 1446, the town of Valena banned all conversos from residence there. And in 1449, the municipal government of Toledo responded to an outburst of rioting against converso tax gatherers by forbidding anyone of Jewish descent to hold official posts within the city.
So can't work in government. Okay.
Yeah. Pope Nicholas denounced the Statute of Toledo, and King Juan II of Castile, whose court was a well-known gathering place of powerful conversos, resisted it for a time, but the king soon gave in. What's that?
Incipient.
Yeah, the incipient racism of the old Christian population was beginning to have its way.
So this book is literally telling you like they was some old Christian racists.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
KKK.
Yeah, the most wicked racists in the world are those old Christians.
They wasn't gonna let up at all.
And we're gonna find out that this was literally like the definition of a sundown town.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
So it's all white municipalities or neighborhoods that excluded non-whites through various discriminatory means, right?
Mhm.
The term for making it illegal for a black person to live in a neighborhood is a sundown town. And the practice was historically enforced through intimidation, violence, or explicit local laws and ordinances. Another practice was using racial restrictive covenants, which were clauses in property deeds to prevent non-white people from buying or occupying land, and while now illegal, were once enforceable. Right? So allegedly all this stuff is gone, but again, the origins of all of this stuff comes from Christian Catholicism.
Yeah.
It didn't just come just because they hate your skin color.
Yeah.
This is an old, deep-seated hatred.
They planted seeds a long time ago.
Yeah, but what is propaganda? Do y'all remember this?
I know what it is.
So, it's like dissemination of information, facts, arguments, rumors, half-truths, or lies to influence public opinion. It is often conveyed through mass media. Propaganda is the more or less systemic effort to manipulate other people's beliefs, attitudes, or actions by means of symbols, words, gestures, banners, monuments, music, clothing, insignia, hairstyles, designs on coins and postage stamps, and so forth. Deliberateness and a relatively heavy emphasis on manipulation to distinguish propaganda from casual conversation or the free and easy exchange of ideas, right? So propagandists, they have specific goals or sets of goals. Again, so that's all about manipulation. But the origins of the word propaganda went back to the Roman Catholic Church. The first definition says, a congregation of the Roman Curia having jurisdiction over missionary territories and related institutions. So then I went to another one, etymology online. 1718, propaganda, committee of cardinals in charge of foreign missions of the Catholic Church. The origin of propaganda, everything is tied to the Roman Catholic Church. You cannot get away from that. Short from Congregatio di Propaganda Fide, congregation for propagating the faith. So it's to propagate the faith, is why they do it. A committee of cardinals established in 1622 by Gregory XV to supervise foreign missions. Notice, why do they call them missions anyway?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Message.
It's a mission.
Yeah. The word is, So the origins of propaganda literally is the Roman Catholic Church. What is...
Program.
Yes, 100% programming. So what's the most democratic of all institutions?
What's the most? What is it?
Go ahead, read out.
Alright. Okay. The clamor for
Clamor.
The clamor for Olympians of this great purity of blood came largely from the rising classes in society and was concentrated mainly in that most democratic of medieval institutions, the church.
The church is the most democratic institution.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But there was survived into our own time a piece of evidence vividly suggesting that something like a portly version of the emergent anti-Jewish racism also was making an appearance in mid-15th century. This is a short satirical work written anonymously in about 1450. Something of a swift and modest proposal, the work purports to be a letter written by King Juan II to an old Christian nobleman, granting him the privileges of a Marano, of a swan.
No swine.
The bearer is given royal license to be like a Marano and is empowered to use the subtleties, arts, dealings, and deceptions which the said Maranos, without fear of Yah or shame before their fellow men, use.
And so, what is satirical? What is that word satirical? What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't even hear that word.
Gotcha. So satirical. So you have to keep going back to the original word on some of these. So of, pertaining to, or containing satire, from Latin, right? Satire. So you have to go to satire. When you go to satiric first, of, pertaining to, of the nature of satire, containing or marked by satire. Then when you finally get to satire, 1500, a literary work originally in verse intended to ridicule prevailing vice or folly by scornful or contemptuous expression. So this satirical work was to make the Yahudim appear to be the worst things on earth, doing the worst things possible. Propaganda, right?
Yeah.
But this comes, like they can say it purports to be something from Juan. This comes from the Roman Catholic Church.
Yeah.
They originated propaganda,
Yeah.
and they're very, very good at it.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. And profit by?
Yeah, profit by. These include giving wicked counsel in ruling circles, charging high interest rates on loans, and even entering the priesthood, mainly for the purpose, it would seem, of listening to the confessions of old Christians and getting to know their secret sins.
Now, isn't this what the
That's
Roman
sick,
Catholic
boy.
Church does, though?
That's it.
Yeah, you come in for confession.
Yeah.
Oh, we got him.
Yeah, we got
what
all
we
this
need.
confession.
We
We
got
gonna
it.
do it. We gonna do them dirty.
But they gonna change that to the Moranos,
Yeah, man, that's
which are the
sick.
conversos or the Jews,
Man, that's
right?
sick.
Okay.
So, yeah, getting to know their secret sins. The utmost religious duplicity is allowed. You may go deceitfully into churches and other sacred places without any devotion, carrying your account book instead of a prayer book or psalter, and pretending to recite the Pentateuch Psalms, and so many of the said race of Moranos are in the habit of doing.
Right.
The bearer may also go about presenting views contrary to those of the church, saying, for example, that there is no other world but the one in which we are born and die, as the said Moranos maintain and affirm contrary to truth. Meanwhile, he may, as the Moranos do, maintain his household in accordance with the Torah, observe Saturday as a day of rest while working on Sundays and church holidays, drink the wine of the Baracha, learn Hebrew science in the synagogue, and have a Jewish burial.
So then it says, one can easily read readily. One can see readily enough the social reality underlying this vehemently spiteful portrait. But then here comes a sudden departure into pure myth, an ominous fabrication that at once harks back to the medieval superstition about murderous Yahudim doctors and echoes forward to Nazi Kant Rosenchad. Our satirical letter gives. Now, I'm going to show you more why they started hating us. And this is going to like piggyback off of this. License to you and your descendants to become apothecaries, physicians, and surgeons, and under the pretext of curing and seeking to restore the body of any old Christian from illness to health, to endeavor to kill and disgrace him, as the said race of Moranos do, as much out of enmity and hatred as in order to marry the wives of the old Christians. So they're saying that we're in these professions to kill them, to take their women.
Man.
Right?
What?
Again, propaganda, Roman Catholic Church. Yeah. Okay. Okay. One can see readily enough the societal reality underlying this vehemently spiteful portrait. But then there comes a sudden departure into pure myth, an ominous fabrication that at once harks back to medieval superstition about murderous Yahudim doctors and echoes forward to Nazi cant about Rosenthal. Our satirical letter gives license to you and your descendants to become apothecaries, physicians, and surgeons, and under the pretext of curing and seeking to restore the body of any old Christian from illness to health, to endeavor to kill and disgrace him as the said race of Marranos do.
Man.
As much out of enmity and hatred as in order to marry the wives of the old Christians So they're saying we are killing them to take their women.
Yeah.
And you're going to see what else they added to make like the people hate us even more here in a little bit.
Okay.
Propaganda.
Like an enmity word.
Yeah. So why the Inquisition happened, right? So kill, swallowing up their goods and property, and polluting and staining their pure blood, the pure blood. Polluting and staining the pure blood. What more vivid example could there be of a spiritual and social revilement turning into a biological one, right? So it came from the church, and they started to morph into colorism. At its beginning point, the notion is a metaphor, an image of a blot on the escutcheon, but at the deepest and most terrified levels of the consciousness, a metaphor swiftly translates into reality, as reality does into metaphor. One wonders to what extent that image of poison that Yahudim doctors had used or that had been infiltrated into Christian wells had been a vision of blood all along. So this is creating, so if they're putting this letter out in newspapers or whatever, and that word's just spreading like wildfire, they're just hating us the more for no reason.
Yeah.
Right. The emerging pattern of anti-converso racism in the 15th century was completed by the establishment of the Spanish Inquisition in 1478. By this time, the Papal Inquisition of the Middle Ages had lost considerable energy it had in. So we're talking about propaganda.
Yeah.
And we just read this satirical letter, right? So, and again, a lot of our people are sellouts. We know this, right? So fair use, this is for educational and training purposes. So before we get to the video about our people, I'm not even going to show this next one, but this guy, he's got a stand-up comedy special. I can't remember his. I think his name is Ronald something. Literally called Black Israelites. It's either Black Hebrew Israelites or Black Israelites. So maybe check that out if y'all want to on YouTube or wherever you can find it at. I'm not even going to play that one because I don't want to take the chance when we get taken down.
I'm a big fan. Black man.
So, hold on.
Oh, man.
So Drewski, right? One of the biggest social influences on planet Earth, started making fun of ISUPK. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't agree with how they treat people, how they talk crazy. None of that nonsense. We don't do that here. All of us are not like that. But that's government control to control the narrative and the perception of the people. Order out of chaos, right? This is just what they do. So you saw, so he makes fun of us. So we're just going to watch this quick little video, him making fun of the Israelites.
Yeah.
Black man. Black man. That's right. 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 Receive this word, white man. That's right. That's right. That's right. You celebrate Christmas, don't you, brother? Yes, you do. That is a white holiday. White holiday. Black is power. Black is power. Black is power. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Black is power. Black is power. Oh, man. Brother, can I speak to you, please, man? Lost another one. Do you feel as this is right? Yeah, this is my girl, bro. Boys, you need to come join us, bro. That's right. You need to come join us. That's right. That's right.
We are not equal.
We are. That's right. Our ancestors did not live for this. That's right. Poison. 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 You will not stop our brothers or sisters from the Constitution. That's right. That's right.
I'd rather be in the cell than to be in hell. That's right. Free man. Free man. Free man. Free man. Free man. Free man. That's right.
John in the window, chapter 16. That's right. A white man will beneath emancipated souls. That's right. That's right.
How can I help you, sir?
I do not need help. I will assist myself. What form of payment for this, please?
Whatever is easy for you.
Is it because my skin is black?
We out here bringing our people back to the law, statutes, and commandments, man. We do not follow rules made by white men. We do not follow rules made by white men. You are not a sister, and you will not proceed to be a sister.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. Who is your master? Who is your master?
What y'all doing after that? Is that the party or something? What's your name in Prophecies?
Marley.
Oh, shit. All right. You thinking hell? Nah, that's dope.
Since like Tuesday, or no, before Tuesday. But the thing is, he's one of the biggest influencers in the world. He's controlled opposition. And once they start getting our people to start making fun of us, be very careful. I'm trying to tell y'all, y'all antennas should be up, because there's probably going to be a trend. You'll see other people starting to do the same thing, and the biggest of our people that are influencers. So again, like all of this stuff, this just reminds me of the spirit of the Inquisition, because it's all propaganda. Because he has an issue, and I'm gonna show you this other video with this other comedian. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't like how them dudes talk to nobody anyway. So I don't rock with the camps either. But to paint a just dishonest narrative that's how all of us are.
Right, that's the thing.
And YouTube makes sure that the worst of us are the ones that have hundreds of thousands of viewers and millions of views and whatever. We're like, man, we're not even like that. That's not even normal. Love your neighbor as yourself. Do unto others as you would them do unto you. But again, they have to control the image that we have, that we portray. Propaganda. Huh?
Modern day word is media.
Media.
Most evil.
Yes. You're right. You're right. Now this guy, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with everything he's saying, but again, we're not all like that. Like that's not even, that don't even make sense. But fair use, this is for educational and training purposes.
I got yelled at by the black Israelites today. That's cool. I like that y'all keeping that tradition alive here. If you don't know what the black Israelites are, they're a group of black people. They dress like Ninja Turtles and they just yell at white people. That's all they do. Crack a asshole, but just screaming at white people for no reason. And they think they're Jewish and they're visibly not Jewish, just so you know. Visibly, these people are not Jewish at all. If you've never seen them, though, this is how they work, all right? The black Israelites is one main dude. He has a big megaphone, okay? He's the one that yells at white people the loudest. Crack a devil hole, bitch. Milk is making you gay. That kind of shit for no reason. There's another nigga with him, though, and he has a smaller megaphone. And that nigga just does ad-libs in the background. That's the funniest nigga ever. Because main dude's going off, small megaphone dude is in the back going, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother. Tell him. Like doing that kind of shit. Tell him. So I love that one. So I'm with my girl, and we're walking, and we come up on the black Israelites, and I'm with my girl. And by the way, if you're a girl and you want to talk to me after the show, I do cheat. So I'm with my girl, right? Big megaphone dude sees me with my girl and goes, everyone stop what you're doing. Stop. That nigga got a white girl, y'all. Look at him. Get away from that white, my brother. Defend yourself. Like yelling at me like that. My girlfriend is not white. She's Asian. She's visibly Asian, right? I don't know what that... My last girlfriend was white. She was a rescue. But this one is not. My girlfriend is also one of these girls that doesn't understand the concept of don't argue with crazy niggas, right? Don't argue with this crazy... Just keep walking. She's like, I'm not even white. Should I tell him? No, but walk. Don't argue with this crazy-ass man for no reason. Keep going. She's like, no, I read Brene Brown. I'm going to speak up. Why? She gets in front of the dude with the big megaphone, goes, excuse me, I'm Vietnamese. And he goes, I don't give a fuck. And then small megaphone dude goes, talk to that Chinese white bitch, my brother. Like, that's what you get. You shouldn't have said nothing. You shouldn't have said, now I gotta act like that's not funny. Why would you?
Yeah, I don't know.
I got yelled at.
So I can't lie to you. They be out of pocket, and 98% of the movement is not even close to being like that.
Yeah.
So, but again, they're getting ready for something. I mean, they're getting ready for something. That's all I can say. So, getting back into this book, was the Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. It says the fact never been strong on the Iberian Peninsula, but when the institution was revived by the kingdoms of Aragon and Castile, this is talking about the Inquisition, united through the marriage of their respective sovereigns Ferdinand and Isabella in 1469. It was to take on not only new relentlessness, but also a new character of national exclusiveness. Again, that's Christian nationalism. For though papal sanction was obtained for it, the Spanish Inquisition, unlike the older ones, was placed directly under the authority of the sovereigns and not of the papacy. So they signed off on it, but it wasn't under them. If you sign off on it, you're still responsible.
Yeah, of course.
The papacy. This was not the only way in which it became quite Spanish. However, whereas the medieval Inquisition had been aimed at heresy in general, the Spanish one came into being primarily to ferret out what was called the Judaizing heresy, the kind of dual doctrinal existence that Pedro de la Caballeria had lived to be flaunted no more. According to tradition, the decision to establish the Inquisition in Spain had come out of an incident involving Moranos in Seville, that old hotbed, if it'll go to it, of Jewish activity and of the violent reaction against it, where the pogroms of 1391 had first broken out. What does pogroms mean again?
Program.
What does it mean, pogroms? It means acts of violence against the Yahudim, black people. A Spanish nobleman pursuing an intrigue with a Yahudim woman had entered her home uninvited on an evening near Easter time and come upon a Passover Seder. So he just breaks into somebody's house and don't get in trouble. That's the first red flag.
Uninvited.
Right? Uninvited. Among whose celebrants were some of the city's most prominent new Christians, Spanish Yahudim. Word of this reached Friar Alonso de Hojeda, prior of a chapter of the Dominican order in Seville, who was already a prominent enemy of both Judaizers and Yahudim. Hojeda brought the story to Queen Isabella, whose court was then temporarily residing in nearby Cordova, and appealed for action. So, no, we got to do something about these guys. They're out of control, man. The matter was a sensitive one because a number of high positions in the courts of both the king and queen were held by new Christians and by Jews. This did not necessarily mean a court that was exclusively riddled with heresy. The queen's zealously Catholic confessor, Fray Thomas de Torquemada, that guy's a devil. I'm telling y'all, that guy's a doggone devil. Or he was. Huh?
Fray Tomas.
Yeah, Tomas de Torquemada. He was a devil. Was also probably of new Christian descent. So this friar was of new Christian descent. Sellout.
Yeah.
And he was a strong influence at court. But the time had come for a point to be proven. The newly united and militant Spain was on the brink of a new surge of reconquista that would wipe out the traces of Moorish political sovereignty on the peninsula. And the presence of a pervasive heresy was no more tolerable than that of the Kingdom of Granada. So they couldn't stand for Granada to be Granada anymore either. That's the other 1492. The Inquisition was established on November the 1st, 1478, and the dreadful tribunal celebrated its first auto de fe on February the 6th of 1481. What was auto de fe again? What did it mean? Do y'all remember? See, that's why we're recapping. It means act of faith, right? And so the different types of act of faith depends on how severe your so-called heresy was. It could either be a penance, flogging, exile, serving as galley slaves, long-term life or life imprisonment, property confiscation, or the worst form, execution, often by burning at the stake. They would kill us like witches during the Spanish Inquisition. Now, y'all remember how long the Spanish Inquisition lasted for? Over 350 years. And they don't teach us about none of it. 350 years and we don't learn about none of it. It says auto de fe took place in Spain and its colonies between the 15th and 19th century. That's over 300 years. Roughly, well, actually close to 400 years. Centuries as part of the Inquisition's effort to enforce religious orthodoxy. And when a sermon was preached by Hojita, the sellout, and 6 men and women were burned publicly at the stake a few years later, the Inquisition issued the following specifications concerning the Judaizing heresy to all associates, neighbors, and servants of new Christians. So this was a servants' revolution because, again, quote-unquote black people ruled Europe from 711 to 1492. Okay, if you don't mind, read what these inquisitive people were saying, okay?
The inquisitive. If you know or have heard of anyone who keeps the Sabbath according to the law of Moses, putting on clean sheets and other new garments, and putting clean cloths on the table and clean sheets on the bed in feast days in honor of the Sabbath, and using no lights from Friday evening onwards, or if they have purified the meat they are to eat by bleeding it in the water, or have cut the throats of cattle or birds they are eating, uttering certain words and covering the blood with earth, or have eaten meat in Lent and on other days forbidden by Holy Mother Church, or have fasted the great fast, going barefooted that day, or if they say Jewish prayers at night, begging forgiveness of each other.
What does this even mean? We couldn't do nothing. That don't even make no doggone sense.
Oh man.
So they're basically giving a license for people to snitch for no reason.
They know they God ain't real. That's what that is. They know they God ain't real.
So again, this is a servants' revolution because the Moors were ruling, and the people that rule now were actually servants.
Yeah.
That's why this hatred is so deep-seated.
That's wild.
Keep going.
Let me see. Holy Mother Church, or have fasted the great fast, going barefooted that day, or if they say Jewish prayers at night, begging for forgiveness of each other. The parents placing their hands on the heads of their children without making the sign of the cross.
What does that matter?
Yeah, or saying anything but be blessed by God and by me.
So blessed by God and the church. Blessed by God and the church.
That's wild, bro.
This is the Spanish Inquisition.
Check it out. You go in, when you go, because I told you, you got a brother that understands both sides, always.
Yeah.
You go to the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
So, well, speaking to the mic though,
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta speak it to the mic. Yeah.
You go into the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk through the doors, they got a little bowl of
Water.
of holy
Holy
water,
water.
and you gotta dip your finger in it and make the sign of the cross. I'm telling you, this is some real stuff, bro.
No, I believe you. I believe you. It don't make no sense, but yeah, I believe you.
Yeah.
And you kneel,
Yeah.
No,
when you go to sit, you kneel
And pray.
and pray.
Yeah.
And they're always doing.
Yeah.
So
Always
they're
doing
doing-
the cross.
And you don't see none of this in the text.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, yeah.
It went-
Kissing rosary beads.
In Louisiana, they have it so bad that when if you're driving down the road
Mhm.
and you pass a Catholic church,
Yeah.
they go ahead and you be driving
And they just do it if they pass a Catholic church.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's crazy.
Ain't that like the inverted cross symbol we do?
I mean, but that's what they do the cross, and that's what Roman Catholic Catholicism or Christianity is.
Yeah.
It's inverted.
Inverted
Because again, ain't none of this in the text doing that.
All right. Be blessed by God and by me. or if they bless the table in the Jewish way, or if they recite the Psalms without the Gloria Patri, or if any woman keeps 40 days after childbirth without entering a church,
Right. That's if you have a man child. Right.
or if they circumcise their children or give them Jewish names, or if after baptism they wash the place where the oil and chrism was put, or if anyone on his deathbed turns to the wall to die, and when he is dead they wash him with hot water, shaving the hair off all parts of his body. Like, you can't do nothing, bro.
Well, I tell you, we can't do anything, right? They wanted us out.
Man.
This goes to show you why they wanted us out. Keep going.
It goes without saying that there was a good deal for an attentive old Christian to be on the lookout for, especially an old Christian servant.
Because that's what they were. They were servants there.
Yeah. Indeed, it was very often servants who turned in names to the Inquisition in a sensitivity to the smallest suspicious detail that was heightened by the smallest knowable whiff of a Judaic blood in the air. For in some ways, the Inquisition turned out to be a servant's revolution, since in the long run, absolute unimpeachability could reside only with
Those who could boast, like Sancho Panza, that not a drop of Yahudim blood ran in their veins. So if they knew that you didn't have no Yahudim blood, you were good. You could snitch and be wrong and everything would be fine. Carte blanche, nothing happened to you.
no rules applied.
Right? They were only going after bloodlines. By the beginning of the next century, even the best Christian will in the world was not always enough to wipe out a taint that was becoming more and more indelibly racial in character. So when did the transatlantic slave trade start and end? With the ChatGPT, it started at about 1501. Now, when did we get kicked out of Spain? I said that the Moors ruled Spain or Europe from 711 to 1492. So the transatlantic slave trade started 10 years or less after that. It overlaps with the Spanish Inquisition, which was over 350 years. They don't teach us nothing at all.
Forgotten history.
Yeah, they teach us nothing. So even when you look into the origins of the transatlantic slave trade, again, it starts 1501 or 1502 CE, Common Era, where the Spanish, oh, you can read this, go ahead.
Where is you at?
Where the Spanish colonies in the Caribbean.
Okay, yeah. The Spanish colonies in the Caribbean, notably Hispaniola, present-day Haiti, and the Dominican Republic, who the first recorded African slaves were brought by Spanish colonists to replace the rapidly dying indigenous labor force after European diseases devastated native populations. So the Europeans, everywhere they go, boy, they make everybody sick. Boy.
Die.
Deadly. Kill them all.
Go ahead. Hold on. What you gonna say?
Now that's
Move the mic closer.
1502
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
that they started.
Uh-huh.
We went to the 400-year celebration,
1619.
1619. But it says first recorded
Yeah.
Africans in America in 1619. So there's a whole hundred
Oh yeah.
17
Years.
years. Yeah.
of slavery going on that was not recorded.
117 years.
Yeah. Because like we know.
Are we celebrating when we said,
Yeah.
2016 is actually 500 years.
But actually, that's in America, that's recorded. That right there says when they started
The transatlantic slave trade.
transatlantic slavery, which is going all to the islands and everything in
Yeah.
South America, but in
In
but in the United
States.
States, that's when it was recorded in
First
1619
recorded.
in
But
the United
that
States.
they tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we're looking at now, all this time about Spain, we didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
We weren't taught anything about it. So what's missing in there?
You're right. There's a lot. That's why we're trying to uncover as much as we can. But
Yeah.
so both of y'all are right though, because you were completely right because they weren't recording a lot of the stuff, so we don't really know. We just know it was millions of people, right? And just like he's saying, 1619, 20 and odd Negroes Cain or whatever. But
Which throws everything all the time. They're constantly throwing the timeline
right,
off.
of course,
So
because
we'll never know what.
and then like we know that a lot of our people were already here in the Americas too. So the transatlantic slave trade technically started with them coming to one of those small islands or in South America, and then them taking them from there, bringing them back to Europe, right? And going into slavery. Those are still certain tribes in Campienda, like we was talking about earlier, right?
Then also we have to remember that the history of basically our captivity as a people in whole, but with our Torah, everything is based around the tribe of Yahudah, which Yahudah itself was, 'cause we know we were here, some of our tribes here already.
Right.
But
But like-
Yahudians was brought over here off the coast of Africa.
Yeah.
And that's when,
From the West Coast.
and that's when it starts. With the 400-year prophecy was based being around the house of
Because
Yahudah.
like there's I think it was Benaiah Israel, he had brought it out. Those of actually the king line from King David didn't come over into captivity until 1619.
Yes.
That's why the 400 years starts from there to there.
Okay.
Now that's not the whole nation,
No, not
but
the
that's
whole
when the
nation.
king came, the king's
Correct.
line.
Correct.
Right. Thank you, because it just came back to me. So yeah,
Mhm.
go ahead.
That's the problem I have with,
Yeah, different times.
saying that we were already here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Early developments, 1444. Portuguese traders began transporting enslaved Africans to Portugal.
Portugal.
Yeah.
Remember Portugal. That's all I'm gonna say.
And its Atlantic islands like was it Madeira and Sico.
Sao Tome or St. Thomas.
Yeah. This was before the transatlantic system. It was part of the Atlantic slave trade's early phase, focused on Europe and island plantations. By 1518, King Charles I of Spain, later Holy Roman Emperor Charles, whatever,
The fifth.
granted the first official asiento license, allowing merchants to ship enslaved Africans directly from Africa to Spanish America.
South America.
Yeah. This marked the formal institutionalization of the transatlantic slave trade.
Keep going.
Height of the trade, 17th and 18th centuries. Britain, Portugal, France, Spain, and the Netherlands became major slave trading powers. Ships transported enslaved Africans primarily to the Caribbean islands, Brazil, the American South, Central America, and Spanish colonies.
So we see that, right? And it roughly ended in like the 1850s, right? So in short, the transatlantic slave trade began around 1501 to 1502 with Spain's Caribbean colonies and expanded massively by the 17th century, lasting to the mid-19th century, which is the mid-1800s. Which, strangely enough, that's around the time where we were allegedly emancipated, right? That's around that time, right?
Yeah.
Again, they don't teach us. They don't teach us nothing.
That was what, Abraham Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this other book, where I've been going through, The Spanish Inquisition, The History and Legacy of the Catholic Church's Notorious Persecution of Heretics by Charles Rivers Editors, right? So it gives a brief synopsis of the first Inquisitions. You feel like reading that? You good? Okay. Just read the highlighted parts.
In 1184, Pope Lucius III issued a papal bull that would kick off a long-standing tradition of heretic hunting, and as a result, the age of the Inquisitions commenced.
So the church is the one
Yeah.
doing all this killing people.
Yeah.
The same church that they want you to die for and love and all this other type of stuff.
And say Holy Father too and all that.
Yeah, I'm
good
not
stuff.
doing that.
Yeah. In a twist of events, the persecuted became the prosecutors.
Persecutors.
From then on, the Roman Catholic Church took it upon itself to hold tribunals or judicial courts in a quest to exterminate heresy once and for all. These inquisitions, which would plague Europe for centuries, is believed to have seen hundreds of thousands persecuted for beliefs that went against the church. A startling proportion of them would be brutally tortured and sent to the depths. None of these would hold a candle
To the what?
to the one birth in the 15th century, the Spanish Inquisition, the notorious Inquisition, the subject of multiple documentaries, movies, and other.
So the Spanish Inquisition was the end all be all of all Inquisitions. So they've been doing Inquisition since 1184 AD.
Yeah. It said none of these will hold a
And
candle.
Was
they-
that when they structured our judicial system? They
Mhm.
changed to the Roman Catholic Church.
Perfect. You own it. Hey, she know what she talking about.
Yeah.
Other pop, go ahead.
All right, cultural mediums. In an era darkly remembered for its oppression, barbarous torture, and religious tyranny, serving as a backdrop for it all was a deadly disease, a man likened to Satan,
We're gonna learn about him.
and the tumultuous rise and fall of one of the most dreadful periods in history. That Black Plague, what are you talking about?
Keep going.
When you hear any layman speak ill of
This was their mindset. It's the same mindset a lot of them have today.
when you hear any layman speak ill of the Christian faith, defend it not with words, but by the sword, which you should thrust into their belly as far as it will go, by
So-
Pope Gregory.
So a difference of opinion according to the Pope, you gotta die.
So if you say something wrong with their religion, you can go kill them.
Die to death.
Yeah.
Everything that the Most High is gonna establish, they do it and they mimic it in their own way.
Yeah. Religious discrimination, though not completely extinguished today, is something many find intolerable. Yet there was once a time when it was sanctioned by the highest of authorities. The prosecution of those who did not adhere to the government's religious beliefs was not only once thought of as a commonplace, it was regarded as a civic duty.
They were doing their duty. Like,
Man.
we gonna get these heretics.
Yeah.
You heard what the Pope said? You read? You heard that bull?
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
Oh man, it's wild. Some of the earliest persecutions associated with Christianity harks back to 64 AD in Rome. That year, a terrible fire wreaked havoc in Rome for about a week, consuming over 75% of the city. Not long after, a plush palace was erected at the burn site. The infuriated people accused Emperor Nero of being the arson.
Because he was.
Yeah.
We know who's the usual suspect. Keep going.
And they believe he set the city aflame for his own merriment. Hearing the people's enraged cries, Nero diverted blame to the Christians.
Which were the Jews or the Yahudim,
Yeah, they did.
the believers in Mashiach. They were called Christians first in Antioch. It was a term of mocking. They didn't call themselves that necessarily.
Blaming them for the fire and ordering them to be rounded up and executed. Hundreds of Christians were barbarically killed, with some burned alive and
Auto de fe.
some of them burned alive and others ripped apart by flesh-hungry dogs. That's got, man, that's, I don't know which one's worse, getting burned alive or getting pulled apart by dogs. I don't know.
And don't forget what happened in 70 AD.
Yeah, it's not even counting that. Yep.
Yeah.
These so-called Christians, again, like were the people of the Most High. So-called Christians.
The
Right?
old Catholic Church.
So again, so we're talking about Christian, but then it's Catholic. They're one and the same.
Yeah.
One and the
That's
same.
National mega.
Huh?
National mega.
What's she saying?
National Maker.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So the people agree with religious authority, right? However, the 4th century saw a major shift in power. In 312 AD, Emperor Constantine the first became the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity. Constantine called for an end to Christian persecution, and Catholicism soon became the dominating religion in all the land. How do you go from Christian to Catholicism in the same sentence? Converted to Christianity, and now it's called Catholicism. There is no difference in history. Catholicism is the head of Christianity, period. By the early Middle Ages, the Roman Catholic Church had become an unyielding force of authority in Europe. The townspeople, consisting of a largely Catholic populace, agreed with authorities that heretics threatened to bring ultimate doom to society, and there was widespread support when authorities sought to rid the disease of heresy from their communities. This is what they say that Constantine looked like. Right? And this is the different inquisitions, because there was more than one. You got a papal, which started in 1184, didn't end to the 1500s. You got episcopal, which started in pre 1230. I don't know what it means by pre. You got the Roman Inquisition from 1542 to 1908. French Inquisition from 1230 to 1500. The Low Countries Inquisition from 1522 to 1566. Holy Roman Empire from the 1200s to the 1500s. Malta Inquisition from 1561 to 1798. Goa Inquisition from 1560 to 1812. Colonial Latin America from 1570 to 1820.
There's some busy people.
Boy, but this is the establishment of white supremacy.
Man.
That's what the Inquisitions are.
Yeah.
The establishments of white supremacy.
Yeah.
That's why we have to come out of her.
Yeah.
It never intended for us to be anything but slaves or servants, second-class citizens. It's got nothing to do with this. And just like the scriptures have said, as y'all can see, especially when you go to Daniel 7, verse 25, that he will wear out the saints of the Most High. That's what this beast has been doing. Wearing out the saints over and over again. Right? So go ahead, Ad.
Inevitably, the coercive nature of such morbid methods ensured that they would seem more effective. In 1252, Pope Innocent V formally sanctioned torture as a legal means of extracting truth and information from subjects.
How does a pope named Innocent legalize torture?
He wasn't too innocent.
He's not that innocent.
He was a demon, man.
Literally. Pope Innocent legalizes torture.
Golly.
Make that make sense. I'm just trying to show y'all history. I'm just trying to show y'all where all this stuff comes from. That's it.
That's wild, folks. I ain't gonna lie. Wow.
We watching it now.
Yeah, we live in it. Yeah, you're right.
We watching it repeat.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we going over, so we know, like, oh, wait a minute.
The signs.
I didn't seen this before. I didn't read about this. Mm-mm.
But yeah, it's repeated, but the outcome isn't gonna be the way they think.
Yeah.
Not this time.
Not this time. You know, praise, all praise to Yahuwah.
Yeah. All praise to the Most High. Yahuwah. Go ahead, keep on.
People began to flee at the sight of the inquisitors, while the brave were forced to move their heretical religious operations underground. Understandably, many began to despise the inquisitors of the Holy Roman Empire. At the end of the day, they possessed the power to excommunicate and call for the deaths of anyone they saw fit. Not even the royals were exempt. So conversely, unapologetic heretics who were deemed lost causes would be promptly executed. This, the Pope believed, was a necessity, the only way to maintain purity within the church.
So, the whole idea of police officers comes from the inquisitors of the Inquisition. People were so scared of these. You know, when police officers come around, everyone leaves. This and that. Same thing would happen back then. You see an inquisitor, oh man, we got to go, because life and death is literally in their power, and it could go left at any point in time. Torture was legalized by an innocent pope. Yeah.
By innocent Pope Innocent.
So what led to the dislike of the Jews, right? So remember we were talking about propaganda and all these other type things, and you actually said it. So let's read about
Rhetoric?
the Black Plague.
Yeah, the bubonic
Okay.
plague. Yeah.
The bubonic plague. It says, the plague did not honor social class. Immortality among the nobility approximated that of the general population. Robert Stephen Godfrey. Halfway through the 14th century, so it's around the 1350s, Europe came face to face with one of the deadliest diseases ever known to mankind. On October of 1347, greeters and well-wishers flocked to the Sicilian dock of Messina. A fleet of a dozen ships sat parked by the port, having just arrived from a lengthy voyage across the Black Sea. But when the ships stayed eerily still, concerned bystanders boarded the ships to have a look around. What they saw shocked even the most seasoned captains to their very core. Almost all of the crewmen on the ships were dead. There were a few who were alive, but just barely, struck by a mysterious and horrifying disease. Some were rendered completely paralyzed from their sizzling hot fevers, while others uncontrollably convulsed and howled with pain, unable to keep their food down, so they're throwing up too. Most alarming of all were the dozens of horrendous, pulsing black boils that had sprouted on the men's bodies, unleashing pockets of diseased blood and pus. A name soon stuck to the debilitating disease, the Black Death. Of course, it has to be called black,
Yeah.
because it's a double entendre, if you know what that means. So this is an image of what it looked like coming
Do
to
we know what it's called nowadays?
the bubonic plague.
Yeah, like what the actual scientific name was.
No, I don't know. If it's different than that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Look like they have
Small
herpes
pox.
or something.
Right?
Or
It
small
looks like a
pox.
variant of it. It definitely does. This is another medieval depiction. So on this one, they're carrying the victims on their shoulders. You see them?
Why would you do that?
They didn't know no better. Look at all these boils on her.
Yeah.
Huh?
It was
Syphilis. That is syphilis. You're right. Yeah, you're right. The same thing they gave to the Indians. Oh, good catch. Good catch. I'm telling you.
Because they was filthy.
They had to clean
Oh
it.
yeah, we're about to read it.
They was filthy as all get out. I had to wash my mouth, but.
Yeah.
They ain't know how to clean, how to season
So,
food, or nothing.
It says authorities scrambled to return these death ships back to sea, but the damage had already been done. At this point, Europeans had only heard of the vague stories of a similar disease called the Great Pestilence, which was rampaging through Asian and North African regions. But given the most non-existent state of international communication at the time, these stories provided little to no information on how to quell the disease. Giovanni Boccaccio, an Italian poet, recorded descriptions of the afflicted. The worst sported throbbing boils, some the size of eggs, and others waxed to the bigness of a common apple. By their groins or armpits,
Oh, Lord.
accompanied by these detestable plague boils, were the unwelcome symptoms of chills, severe diarrhea, blistering pains, and ultimately death. Authorities had never seen a disease so widely contagious, spreadable by just the breathing of contaminated air, the mere touching of clothes. Those who were tasked to clear and handle the piling bodies wore no protective gear, so they were completely exposed to the plague's bacteria, thereby contributing to the spread of the disease. And this is a depiction of what it looked like. These bodies on top of bodies on top of bodies. So then the panicking people grew desperate, willing to resort to anything to cure themselves of the disease. The most extreme of these measures were those taken by the religious flagellants, believing that they had somehow angered the Most High. They whipped and beat themselves repetitively in hopes of showing the remorse and escaping the deadly disease. Of course, these measures were anything but fruitful. Ultimately, an estimated 20 million died in 5 years, which was equivalent to almost a third of the entire continent's population. So a third, that's a plague.
They didn't at that time, they didn't realize that even at that time, when we think about it, Yah has always been on behalf of his people.
Yeah.
Regardless of what sentences he put us on because of our disobedience, you can't mess with his children but so much. He's gonna, any parent's gonna only put up with so much. And all that was part of his judgment. 20 million?
Yeah.
In 5 years.
I like 20 mil.
Some slight,
Some slight.
only a third, some
Yeah, they know
slight.
the judgment was upon them. They messing around with Yah's children.
Right. So
Yeah.
the Most High sends this plague to Europe, and they want to whip themselves. Like
Yeah.
that's really gonna. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy.
Like you hurting yourself gonna make the Most High, change.
And then like you're whipping yourself with whips, so you're gonna be bleeding. You're gonna be more contaminated.
Okay.
So talking about this Black Death. So again, it's called the Black Death. The Black Death was eventually curbed but what came after was only more misery. Due to the drastic shrinkage in the farmer population, the starving people faced a food shortage. And the food shortage paved the way to an inevitable inflation in food prices, which saw the poor descend to worse poverty in certain English towns. The food prices soared, with bread and staple foods costing 4 times their original prices. So wait a minute. So we survived the plague of COVID. And then after that, there came a food shortage, even though it was engineered by kicking out the illegals.
Yeah.
And now we're going through inflation.
Yeah.
That's really, that's kind of crazy how history kind of just, it's weird. What a coincidence. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
So we'll keep going. With their understandable outcry from the public, officials needed someone to pin the blame on. We gotta, oh man, somebody gotta get this. Hold on, man.
We gotta put this
Yo,
on
look, we got,
somebody.
look, man. Hey, these people is crazy. They hungry. We can't feed them.
We don't know what to tell them.
We gonna have to figure something out. Initially, the cause of the Black Plague was believed to have been a direct punishment from God. There were those who argued that God was punishing the corrupt Catholic Church.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Some chalked up God's wrath to seemingly ceaseless war and conflict ravaging through Europe. Yeah. Others insisted God was displeased with them for failing to drive the Muslims out of the Holy Land. Here we go.
Oh.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
Propaganda. Because remember, they did pogroms. What does pogroms mean? Violence against the Yahudim.
Faith.
Huh? Act of faith, that would be a part of a pogrom. But that happened in 1391. There were actual pogroms that happened prior to that also. Eventually, authorities found themselves a new scapegoat. The Jews.
Of course.
Black Plague, Spanish Jews. They were black. They came from Africa. Black Death.
Yeah. It gotta be them.
Eventually, authorities found themselves a new scapegoat. The Jews, officials noticed that the disease had only mildly affected or almost entirely overlooked certain towns. Now, some of our towns did get hit, but a good majority of them didn't really get hit. These were the towns that housed many of the Yahudim community. European authorities began to embrace the idea, convincing themselves that they had located the source of their problems. By golly, we got them. We finally got them. Now, do y'all remember that satirical work that we read earlier?
Yeah.
About the Jews poisoning water?
Satire. Yeah.
Satire, remember that? It's tied to the Black Death. Okay.
We don't know how they did it, but we know they did it.
Doggone, it's got to be them. Hey, look, ain't nothing wrong with them. They look fine. Ain't a boil on them. He ain't got no eggs on them, no apples. European authorities began to embrace the idea, convincing themselves that they had located the source of their problems.
Yeah.
Many began to preach that it was their duty to either convert. Remember, they were raising people to convert us.
Yeah, yeah.
This is why the Black Death.
Yeah.
This stuff is so crazy the way it connects, bro. It was their duty to either convert, shun, or eliminate the Jews for all the sake of keeping society intact.
Yeah.
So they were doing their civic duty.
Yeah. Keeping the hierarchy stable.
So now you start to see why the hatred starts to grow. And then they come up with satirical works like that. Like, all right. Oh, so they're the one, the reason why this happened?
Yeah.
You want to poison our people? You want to take our women? You want to kill us?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Elder.
Look, we kind of have a little humor in this, but here's the thing.
So you gonna take our women?
It's getting ready to happen again.
That's why we're going over this now.
And the thing about it, because what I remember reading is that in right there in the revealing of things, the revelation,
Mm-hmm.
Yah said, "I'm gonna make these people, confess that it's you that I've always loved."
Yep.
Yeah.
That I've loved
And
you.
how do you think that our King is going to do it? He's going to be doing the same thing that was
Everything that happened to us, they gonna get double.
and they're gonna be so bad. That's why they're getting meaner and meaner toward us, man. He said to the point they're gonna say it's us that we know who you are, and it's you that the Creator has always loved. It's coming sooner than you think.
And this is why it was crazy how we kind of, how the Most High moves, and we kind of shifted into going in this direction. I was like, well, we're still going on redeeming your bloodline, but it was almost like on me, like we got to know the history of stuff, history, because like you said, it's about to repeat itself. Because before we get saved, we know there's another Trump and them are up to something. I don't care what nobody says. I don't trust it. I know they, especially if he gets a third term.
Yeah.
But I think him even running for the third term is what's going to cause the civil war to happen. Because I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be it. But also, they're going to keep creating this racial divide through Christian nationalism.
Yeah.
Those doggone Christian nationalist pastors are some racist devils, let me tell you. Let me tell you. So then it says, at the time, the Europeans could not comprehend why the Yahudim victims were dying at only half the rate of their Christian counterparts. Why is that? Whereas historians today have linked the higher survival rate of the Yahudim communities to the sanitary practices of their traditional customs. So keeping the Torah was helping them stay alive. While the non-Yahudim members of society in Europe could go for decades without ever washing their hands, the Yahudim were obligated by religious law to keep themselves clean at all times. They were instructed to wash their hands thoroughly multiple times a day, including before meals, after intimate human contact, and post trips to the bathroom. So again, the Torah and our cleanliness laws are keeping us alive.
Those other ethnic groups, if they didn't learn from us and our ancestors, they was just some filthy rascals. I'll put it like that. That ain't the word I wanted to use, but
I feel you.
Still teaching them today about cleanliness.
Huh?
We're still teaching them today about cleanliness, how to make.
It says another important factor to consider was the way the Jews handled their corpses. While the general public persisted in the habit of leaving disease-riddled bodies out to rot for days
Why would you do that?
before clearing them away, Yahudim law called for an immediate burial. Moreover, in the spirit of Shevra Kadisha, the Yahudim formal burial society, bodies were first properly cleansed before they were lowered into the earth. So they didn't care about that. Those old Christians didn't care about none of that. No, it's these new Christians, these conversos, these cryptos, these moranos. It's them.
Wow.
We got to do something with them. They were very practical. There were very practical reasons the Jews fared better, but non-Jews were unable to understand or accept them. So another theory soon emerged. Instead, the explanation was that the Yahudim, who the Christian describes as agents of Satan, wanted to destroy the Catholic communities from the inside out. Oh yeah, that's it. Right, propaganda, right?
Yeah.
They were accused of poisoning the drinking wells. That's what we read in esoterical work.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world united to retaliate against the Yahudim. Their hatred for them steadily brewing. So it's just growing and festering and growing. Oh man, okay, we got them. Don't worry about it. We're going to get them. Several popes would attempt to institute proclamations stating that the Yahudim were not to be blamed or persecuted. It's too late at that point. But they were ignored. The Black Death, the united hatred towards the Jews brought about a string of pogroms. What's pogroms? Violence against the Yahudim.
yes.
Right? Like Black Wall Street. That's a pogrom.
Yeah.
Right? In 1349, towards the end of the Black Death, because remember, starting in 1347, this is 1349, the horrors began. That year, every member of a whole Yahudim village based in Basel, Switzerland, was arrested and burned alive.
Man, that's wild, bro.
Arrested and burned alive.
That's wild.
Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Other Yahudim communities residing in the towns of Augsburg, Nuremberg, Munich, and more were either forced out or executed. Residents in a Yahudim community in Worms, Germany, were sentenced by authorities to burn at the stake. Faced with an unchangeable fate, 580 of those residents took matters into their own hands and set their own homes ablaze before authorities could reach them. How crazy is that to stay alive? You're going to burn everything you got
Make them think you did.
because of propaganda
Yeah.
from the church.
And that makes sense. That makes sense why you don't see, but all those places that originally were either swarthy complexion or
Yep.
tawny. Why now you don't see a bunch of us there because they killed us.
Sundown towns. We had to get out of
They
there.
murdered, not killed, they murdered us.
Yeah.
That was premeditated.
Yeah.
Evil.
Yeah.
Pure evil, man.
And that's why I
Wickedness.
said we're going through history, so you got to try to take the hate out your heart.
Yeah.
But you still got to know these things so you can let your family know, your children know, like, hey, when you see certain signs, pay attention. This is not the time to be falling back asleep.
Leper's not going to change
Because
his
they're
spot.
snaky.
At
At all.
That's what our king said. Leper's not going
A
to
snake will be a snake.
Yeah.
So we got to be wise as a serpent.
Yeah.
We got to be, man. So again, they had to burn their own residence. So what did he say? 580, where is it at? Of those residents took matters into their own hands and set their own homes ablaze before authorities could reach them.
Yeah, make them think they kill themselves on their own.
Make them think somebody else already got them. Yeah. Go ahead, Doc.
The Jewish community in Mainz attempted to defend themselves, killing at least 200 of their Christian attackers. But the revenge of the Christians was swift and brutal. On the 24th of August that same year, 6,000 Jews lost their lives. By 1351, a year after the official end of the Black Death, the Jewish communities in Germany and Low Country regions were practically non-existent. Yet the violent destruction and bloodbath went on for 4 more decades. 4 more
So
decades.
the Black Flag started in 1347, ended in 1351, and then we're still going through pogroms 40 years after that.
Yeah, 4 more decades.
And that just only gets you to the 1390s. So you see the hatred of us was building, all the way until you
Generations.
finally get to
Yeah.
1492. Keep going.
To put it in perspective, the Jewish population in Frankfurt was estimated to be at roughly 19,000 in 1350. But half a century later, the population had dwindled down to a measly 10.
White it out.
Yeah.
Boy, out of there.
White it out.
Yeah, what really brought about the Black Death up until recently, it was believed that the bubonic plague had come from disease, fleas, hitching rides on the backs of rodents. Though that has now been disputed, some scientists suggest the real culprit is airborne. It is clear the disease has certainly not stemmed from any particular group of people.
But they didn't care because they wanted to get rid of us.
Yeah.
It was a servant's revolution.
They had to blame somebody.
Right. So we're going to stop there for today. But just trying to let y'all know this history, man. We got to know it. We got to know it. Please download this one. Because I don't know. I feel like it might get taken down. Fair use. This is for educational and training purposes. Elder, will you press out?
But yeah. Thank you for enlightening us on this here part of history. And give us righteous hearts, Abba Yah. Please give us righteous hearts because, boy, I tell you this history, Yah.
Yeah.
You know, all we ask you, and even those that are in the listening audience, Yah, please, we ask you, we pray, in Hamashiach's precious name, let your vengeance be swift on our enemies, please. You know, in Yeshua's precious name, so be it.
So be it.
So we are Yehuda. This is YAH'S Assembly. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, like and share our content. And as always, until next time.
Oh,
Shalom,
man.
tribe. He wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
Oh, man.